I've had an off again, on again relationship with social media in the past. My last video on this subject was all the way back in May of 2021, and while I have made Instagram since then, it was for a short period, and it's been over a year since I deleted that account. I've had Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter at some point, and at one point, all at the same time. And I could confidently say it was very overwhelming and very annoying. Overwhelming because I could hardly control the information I was receiving and taking in, and annoying because I lacked the self-discipline to just take my phone and leave it behind when doing something. But as it turned out, every time I would pick up my phone to refresh, I usually never missed anything. So today in this video, I wanted to share some of the most beneficial things I found by living a life without social media. But before I start, I do want to address the woolly mammoth in the room. I don't consider YouTube social media, because for me, it's more of a creative outlet rather than a place that I'm social. But first, if new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you, and you end up liking the video, be sure to like, and please roundhouse kick the subscribe button. Let's get started. I don't miss as much as I think. I feel like one of the main reasons people stay on social media, including myself, is because of the fear of missing something important, or FOMO, just the fear of missing out. I know personally I would always feel like I'm missing out on important events or just fun. But the truth was, every time I would check in on what people were up to, it was never really something I was interested in or something I really cared about being a part of. The people I wanted to be around, and the only things I would really even care about missing out on, my true friends would make sure I'm a part of it, with or without social media. Feeling alone and isolated isn't always bad. Now this is something I want to make a dedicated video on in the future, but I'll touch on it in this video. My time away from social media has truly made me feel a little bit more isolated than ever, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. In the time I've been off social media and the time I've been practicing digital minimalism, I found a lot of time for myself, and I found out a lot about myself. Whether I was aware of it or not, it always seemed like I wanted to create this image of myself on Snapchat or Instagram that I was highly productive and my life was just very exciting. Which, by the way, it's neither of those. But this time alone and this time away from others helped clarify what I was doing for my image and what I was actually doing for myself. I have more control over what I consume. Probably the thing that frustrated me the most about being on social media was feeling like I had zero control over what showed up on my feed. Now, this can be easily fixed, and it really didn't seem like that big a deal until I spent some time away from mind-numbing content. That saying, "you are what you consume," really seemed to be true in this case. And the argument can be made that YouTube has a lot of this as well, but like I said, I use YouTube more as a creative outlet, not a place to be social. And on YouTube, I do feel like I have a little bit more control over what I consume. And I never actually realized how much this affected my overall mood and my creativity until I limited myself to mindful content only, with the occasional splurge. Connections have more intention. One word that should be thought of every time minimalism is brought up is intentionality. Just like thought and intention is put behind my decisions with items and how I spend my time, in a life without social media, the same thing is true with my connections with people. There's rarely ever small talk I have to engage in, and those obligatory plans that both sides know will never happen. But talking to a lot of people, especially simultaneously, is just very exhausting for me. I probably have about 3 people that I could talk to about anything, and I didn't meet any one of them through social media. Less social obligations. And this might sound like a very pessimistic thing to say right off the bat, but let me explain. One thing I always talk about when I talk about minimalism or essentialism in any capacity is the ability to say no. To say no to things I don't want to sink my time or energy into. Staying out of the world of social media has, at the very least, kept me from feeling obligated to participate in things I don't really care to or reach out to people I don't really care to. And wow, that sounds really rude when I say it out loud. But I think I speak for a lot of us when I say I've been pulled into a lot of social obligations that I didn't want to be a part of. The ones where I would rather be at home or pretty much anywhere else. It's not the single answer to a better life. And I feel like I wouldn't be doing this video justice if I didn't at least mention this. While quitting social media for the past year has proven to be beneficial in many ways, like the ones I just talked about, it's definitely not the answer to all of my struggles. Did it make me more productive? Maybe, but that's probably just because I had less things distracting me. To say quitting social media is a life-changing thing to do might be a little bit extreme, but I can confidently say it's a step in the right direction. There wasn't one single behavior that came along with being a minimalist that changed my life for the better, but a combination of multiple changes compounded on top of each other that really made the difference. I occasionally ask myself if there's an instance where I would ever come back to social media, and the answer is, I don't know. Because it does have its benefits, especially if you're someone who likes to or needs to connect with people. But based on how I feel right now and my experience over the past year, I could say it's very unlikely. Anyways, I hope this video brought you some value if you're on the fence about stepping away from social media for a while. And as always, I appreciate the time you spent here and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.